Desert hills and lonely places, heavy still without your traces, holding on to every breath we wasted, tender for your soft embrace. Under the darkest sky and flame, don't wanna see the night fade to blue. Under the dark sky, long for you. Don't wanna see your red fade to blue. I wanna flow with you over holy water. I wanna crawl into all your secret corners. I wanna brace myself. We go heavy harder. We go heavy harder. Heavy. I wanna lose myself in you. I wanna lose myself in you. Before you fade to blue. Still looking in all the same places. Still
Who's friends with all the night dreamers talking to you at night? Gary on the radio, but maybe he's not in sight. Bigfoot's on his tail, flying UFOs, that's right. Gary's talk show radio, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday nights. If you need a friend to talk to, he will always be there. The Night Dreamers talk show will fix your despair. If you want to talk conspiracies, Night Dreamers is for you. Top secret case, alien space, it's Gary with the news. Tune in on the radio, don't let Big Brother know. They're listening to everything, even Gary's late night show. If you need a friend to talk to, he will always be there. The Night Show Dreamers talk show will fix your despair. Because Gary's talking to you at night.
Here now, the news. I'm Guy Ticker, Night Dreams Talk Radio Network News Director, Anchor Reporter, and Intimacy Coordinator. China's military satellites are watching America's every move. China is fast challenging the United States monopoly in space as new remote sensing satellites have allowed Beijing to monitor American military assets globally. According to Major General Gregory J. Gagnon, quote, "The PLA is rapidly advanced in space in a way that few people can really appreciate. China has added over 400 satellites in the past 2 years, from which more than half have the capability to track objects on Earth." General Bradley Saltzman, Chief of Space Operations at the U.S. Space Force, recently raised an alarm about China's exponential growth in satellite-based surveillance capability. According to Air and Space Forces magazine, Saltzman said that China, quote, has more than 470 intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance satellites, feeding a robust sensor shooter kill web. In other, equally concerning news, scientists have used a supercomputer to find out when humanity will perish. Researchers have used a supercomputer to predict not only when humanity will come to an end, but all mammals currently living on land. The researchers penned a study published in the scientific journal Nature Geoscience, where they explain that compiling factors such as solar radiation and landmass configurations can lead to a prediction of when all landmass mammalian life will be eradicated from the surface of the Earth. How fun. The team found that in as little as 250 million years, Earth's tectonic plates will converge to form Earth's next supercontinent, currently called Pangaea Ultima. Was there a contest for that name? The scientists write that the creation and decay of Pangea Ultima will produce extreme levels of CO2, particularly from volcanic rifting and outgassing. The intense levels of CO2 in Earth's atmosphere, combined with the heat of the sun, will make Earth unable to sustain many forms of landmass life. Within these kinds of conditions, humanity won't be able to grow any food, with the supercomputer finding that temperatures would increase between 40 and 50 degrees Celsius, which is approximately 104 to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Time to crank up the old AC.
You're listening to my friend Geri Anderson on Night Dreams Talk Radio, the best in paranormal radio.
You are listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio Network, the home of Night Dreams Talk Radio, with Geri Anderson, syndicated worldwide. Paranormal Talk Radio, like you remember.
Well, we made it after the debates last night. We made it into Friday. JC, how was your day? And I'll tell you what, my day just turned out to be sour. You know, we went to go on the air and everything froze up. Did you jinx me or something today?
You don't believe in jinx. I don't like that crap. But no, there's no jinx. It's just one of them weird things.
Yeah, atmospheric condition of the plane. You know, in 1934, one of the biggest inventions for highways happened. I bet you don't know what it was, do you?
That's a good question. Asphalt?
Well, Percy Shaw almost got in a crash coming home from the pub on a foggy night in England. And he said, you know, the roads need reflective items on it. So that's when the cat eyes started appearing on the roads in the UK shortly after in the United States.
Yeah, listen, that's a good thing because those things have woken me up a few times in my life.
Yeah, asphalt in 1934?
I don't know. I was just taking a wild guess. I wasn't around. Well, I should take your word for it. You might have been around. I don't know.
I might have been around. Me? Come on. I'm only 27 years old.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, my old friend Jack Benny, you know, he was like 38 forever.
39, I believe it was.
No, 39, 38. What's a year or two?
Yeah. Oh, it meant a lot to him, let me tell you.
I know. You know, it's strange, too. I was thinking about him the other night. You know, I had a conversation with him about 6 months before he passed on.
Oh, I thought he was going to say about 6 months ago, and I was like, oh,
well, you never know.
Like, tell me more.
I couldn't. You know, we're into the paranormal, but not that deep. I don't have boots that go up that high.
Well, you have to have full-on chest waders, I think.
Again, I want to apologize to everybody. We were a little bit late getting on, but when I hit the button, you know, to go on to the radio stations and the apps, and even YouTube, and they're all handled on different servers and computers, but YouTube kept telling me it was a no-go. And then all of a sudden you told me, hey, it's up, and I already, you know, restarted the computer.
It just came up, right? Yeah, it was weird, but it had like the wrong information anyway. So
it had last night's information.
Yeah, probably just as well.
How about now, though? Is it correct?
It is correct. I think the bio might need a little tweaking, but other than that, the wording's right on the front part of it, yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, I hope the bio is the right bio for the show tonight, isn't it?
Well, it's, well, I can't see it now. I don't know.
You can't see it? I hope it's right.
No, it's got last night's guest bio. You'll have to change that.
Oh boy. That means I can't play my good music.
Oh. Yeah, it's got last night's bio on it.
Yeah, let's see how it went. I'll have to fix that after the show. More work. Well, who's our first guest? What are we going to be talking about?
Hey, our first guest is Denise Stoner. Now, she is part of the MUFON Experiencer Resource Team working with abductees. She is also a very accomplished author, and her research and involvement within the UFO field, Geri, spans more than 40 years.
Well, hi, Denise. It's nice to have you back on.
Oh, it's exciting to be back, and I was looking forward to it.
You know, I think ETs didn't want us to go on tonight.
That happens.
Yeah, they were going to abduct my whole studio till they found out I had a German Shepherd and 2 Great Danes and a cat and a goat and a couple of horses. They said, no, we're not going to abduct you.
Oh, my goodness.
So what have you been up to lately?
What have I been up to? Just some more researching and talking to people who have had experiences and comparing notes and all that type of thing.
Talk to any people that have been abducted lately?
I have, yes. Yes.
How do you single out those people that maybe need medication versus the ones you feel that really were abducted?
It's not easy. By asking appropriate questions, listening to the answers, and now we've got the paranormal stuff mixing and mingling with people who have been abducted.
You know, what really scares me is some of the people that get regressed. You know, again, maybe they don't go to the right type of, some hypnotists because, they have to be board certified. And there's people out there actually hypnotizing people that are not even qualified to do it. And like I say on the show all the time, we've been bombed from 1950s, with space movies, ETs with a big eye, on their forehead, all the way up to current, Star Trek, Star Wars, you name it. And our brain digests all that, and it's somewhere in our brain. And then if you go to somebody who's not certified and they regress you, I think some people are coming back with false memories. What's your take on that?
Well, you hit the nail right on the head, Geri. This is something that we're having to watch out for. I'm a certified hypnotist. I also took a course in regressive forensic hypnosis so that when I am hypnotizing someone, I'm very careful not to feed them any information or suggest anything, because if you do that, they're going to want to confabulate and please the hypnotist. And then you've got a whole show going, none of it's true.
Well, through the years, I've not hypnotized. I've had people that, were hypnotized and they say, I was the queen and, on Pompeii and I watched Pompeii, and how many people were President Lincoln and how many people were Cleopatra? I mean, it's quite a few of them. And again, I blame that on some of the hypnotists that do it. Have you ever ran across somebody you couldn't hypnotize?
Yes, I have. And it's difficult because they're so anxious to have it happen, and they're just not the type of personality, or they've got some little issues with medication, and those people should not be hypnotized and often can't be.
Interesting. And again, have you ever had any problems taking somebody out of being hypnotized?
No, because if they should just go, well, there's like 10 levels that a person can go to when they're hypnotized, 10 being the deepest. And often they'll just fall asleep. If you just leave them alone, they'll wake up.
I was hypnotized years ago because when I got married to my wife, 47 short years ago, or long, depending on how you feel at the moment, I was smoking 2 packs of cigarettes. And that was the thing. She said, if we get married, you got to quit smoking. And I went to a hypnotist. The first one, nothing happened. The second one, every time I tried to light a cigarette, I got nauseous. And it caused me to stop smoking like instantly. Except for cigars. We never talked about cigars. But, I can get a cigar and I can smoke it fine. But I can't smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, and it depends on the methodology that individual used. I worked with someone for 5 years, a doctor, who wanted to work with smoking cessation, pain control, that a person could work with themselves to help their pain level. The smoking was interesting. I smoked 2 packs a day. And this was back, I quit in 1983. And what he did was ask me before hypnosis if I wanted to quit, and I said yes. Under hypnosis, we came up with 22 different reasons why I did not want to quit. He removed each and every one of those reasons. And I quit. I walked out that day, and that was it. So you have to be careful, again, with this. Stop smoking. What do? You put a Band-Aid on it. It's like taking an aspirin. It wears off, and you pick those cigarettes up again. You have to have a very good hypnotist.
Yeah, I did the same thing with alcohol, believe it or not. I have no desire to drink at all. In fact, I look at it and I don't enjoy it. So I think being hypnotized has a lot of good qualities and things that it can enhance your life. But again, let's get back to people that maybe claim that they were abducted. When you hypnotize somebody, how do you do it? And how do you find out all this interesting stuff about their abduction?
Well, the first thing I do is try to find out what their conscious memory has told them. How much of that do they have? Because if they don't have anything except maybe a light came down and they saw it in their backyard and that's it, they had no other information. So what are they going to do? Make something up, add to their story, again, confabulate? I like them to have some conscious memory of what occurred. And then let's say we get them aboard a craft. Once there, I ask the questions in such a way that they have to come up with answers like, what do you see? Where are you? I'm telling them nothing. I ask questions in that way so that they have to come up with something that makes sense.
Now, have you ever had anybody, when they were hypnotized, actually tell you about their encounter being abducted? It really scared you?
I have had that happen, yes. Mm-hmm.
Can you talk, without mentioning their name or the whole story, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, and this had to do with, if you've ever heard of the reptilians.
Oh, yeah.
Large entities that are, I think, cruel. And I also believe that they're working with some of the governments in the world. People that had been taken, they recalled one of them to an old hangar, aircraft hangar that was sitting in the jungle. And down from the roof, from the ceiling, where all the vines in the roof had caved in, came this entity that looked like a big reptile. And then down came some others wearing military uniform. They just didn't have that insignia on the collar, so they couldn't tell what country it was from. And they started to walk up and down and preach to all the individuals who were sitting at tables and telling them what was going to happen to them, either physically, causing pain, what was going to happen to the world, and they were going to help it happen. So that was very frightening to me.
It sounds like it too. I mean, how many people have you regressed on, being abducted through the years?
Oh gosh, I was not a hypnotist early on, just a researcher investigator. So the number of people that I have agreed to hypnotize, probably 50 to 60.
Wow, that's a lot. I got to ask you another question. What got you into the subject of UFOs, abductions, and the strangeness of it?
Well, myself, I'm an experiencer, and I was 2.5 when I first saw this entity that had followed me all my life. I know it's the same one. I can identify him if he was in a lineup, although someone with me might not be able to. It's that close a call, the little changes and differences in their features. That one is mine. He's my escort. So from age 2.5, when I was visited and taken through the wallpaper of my upstairs bedroom as a child, and onto a craft where there were other children that belonged in the neighborhood.
That would be scary, especially at 2.5. And then when you got older, did you ever go up to your mom and dad and say, something strange is going on?
I did. I told them a little bit about the little figure that came and got me. So they said, oh, she's got an imaginary friend. The thing was, later on, I discovered that probably both of my parents had been taken.
Boy, did your parents ever talk about it at all when they got older? About, UFOs, flying saucers, or anything?
Well, Gary, one event that I can recall clearly, my grandparents, my sister, myself, my parents, all had bedrooms upstairs in their first home. And my dad was in, what did they call it? Army Air Corps. And he was a bomber. He knew planes inside and out. And they had gone to bed down the hall from us, and they were just watching out the window and talking. And these lights came flying down into the backyard and towards the window. And my dad said, oh, if that comes any closer, it's going to hit the house. And the next thing you knew, it was morning.
Interesting. So lost time.
Yeah, lost time. And something happened because normally my dad would have gone down the hall, wakened up my grandparents, rescued my sister and I, gotten us outside. That didn't happen.
Very interesting. We need to take a break because we're really behind on everything. When we come back, I got to ask you what it was like when you were taken aboard a craft. What maybe you remember what the craft looked like, what the ETs looked like, and maybe what they've done to you. So we'll be back with Denise right after this. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I feel the weight behind my eyes, lean towards the color that lies within. Nothing between you and I. Still you right there under my skin. I've been waiting. There's no fault lines to crack and leave me aching. Thinking on a fault line, it leaves me numb, but it's something that might never come. So I'll be waiting here in your arms.
Looking for Bigfoot or UFO themed merchandise? Look no further. Explore Night Dreams Talk Radio's store for an array of paranormal goodies, from t-shirts to mouse pads to socks to whatever the heck that thing is. Don't miss out on these unique items. Check us out today at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. While you're checking out the cool merchandise, go to the latest news tab to find out what's going on in the world and outside the world. Again, go to www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. Coming to you from some far point station, like a cosmic tumbleweed, both north and south of the Pleiades. Here's your host, Geri Anderson.
And we are back with Denise. Again, you were taken aboard many times in the craft. What do you remember of what the craft looked like inside and all that?
Well, there were two that stand out. One, I was given a tour after having something done to me physically, where they stuck me with needles, they drew things out of my body, perhaps put something in. It was painful. And that was done by who I call the doctor. He was an insectoid type individual, very serious. I think a scientist, not friendly at all, just doing what he was supposed to do. When I left, the guide, my escort, asked me if I would like to see the core of the ship, the operations system, on my way out. And I said, yes, I would like to. So he took me to the doorway of a room that I could actually feel the heart beating. At least that's what it felt like. I was walking on a pathway where underneath that it was all fluid and it was running back and forth in the room. I looked up, and down at the far end was this biological, organic, mechanical individual. I saw what I thought was a female. There were vines growing, there was tubing running out, and I felt immediate emotions like, what is going on? Is this person trapped? And I got a voice that said, do you think I am stuck here, that I am trapped here? That's not true. I can leave whenever I wish. There are many like us. We communicate together. We know where we are at any given time. And when we are called to the mothership, we can all meet and know exactly what time, the place, and what the event's going to be that we're meeting for. It was very, very emotional again. And Kathleen Marden was my hypnotist. So she took me there and got worried because she said it looked like my muscles were being hit with a beanbag type thing. She could see them and was worried about my emotions and brought me out. Later on, I asked her to take me back there, and we videoed it.
Very interesting. That is scary when you really think about it. What is their motive of abducting people and doing what they're doing? Are they trying to modify us, or what is the purpose? What have you came up with?
I think they're trying to modify both themselves and us. They're taking DNA samples now. I'd like to see the results of that. I don't believe that I have yet, but I think that's part and parcel of what they're up to. I like the grays, the tall ones, especially the one that has always come for me. He can remove pain and fear on board the craft. Another craft that I was on was a lot of people, a lot of humans, and this craft had a balcony. So we were handed a box and asked to walk either right or left in line. I was on the right, went down the line, and we came to this balcony. I recognized a couple of my neighbors who had been taken. They never would admit to it. We all had boxes. I thought we were going to fall off due to gravity. And I was taken here in Florida. But when I returned, I was cold. I had rosy cheeks as if I'd been out in the snow. My feet were cold. My husband had been moved from our bedroom to the computer room. He didn't remember being put there. But we were asked to drop these boxes over the balcony. And when some of us asked what they were, what was in these boxes? And I felt very emotional about that also. And we were told that this was the soul of a new hybrid. It was being delivered to its home when we dropped it off the balcony.
Interesting. How big are these craft inside?
This craft was enormous. I could see several different species or entities. They were not happy with what they were doing and wished they had not agreed to the project. But we had the operating console. I could watch some working there. Behind me, hallways that went on forever. And when I looked outside on the balcony, in back of me, I could not see the end of the craft.
That's huge. That's a big thing, has happened through the years. Back in 1947, one of the very first sightings with a pilot, it was a small saucer. Now, some of these craft are like, people are saying they're big as a Walmart store, a super Walmart store, by the way, huge in diameter. But here's the part it puzzles me. Are these ETs, do they have a motive that they're trying to hide from us? Are they here to serve man? No pun to the Twilight Zone of that, cookbook. But, I'm wondering, have you regressed anybody that had a horror story about their abduction, what they do to people? Because I've had people actually tell me, Denise, that they even eat body parts of humans. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know what to believe. I don't know. I really would like to know what's really going on.
That's true. This is a conundrum because we have to try and sort this out and figure it out. And what I have derived about these enormous crafts is they could not land on Earth. They're too large. They're bigger than cities, bigger than countries. I don't know exactly how large. And they have all different kinds of, I want to call it projects, exercises, transforming humans, working so that they can produce hybrids, healthier individuals for both them and us. And then the scary thing, why do they want to cut us up? I've heard a couple of those stories. I have to question everything, and I don't even know what to fully believe and what not to.
Well, again, who knows how many different aliens are visiting us? I mean, really, the galaxy and the solar systems don't stop. And so we could be being visited so much more than we can even comprehend. And, humans from Cain and Abel have been warriors and killers. And a lot of people say, well, ETs would never hurt mankind. They're not warriors. They're 1 billion years more advanced than us. I can't buy that with every civilization, because look what's going on our own planet. Yes, there can be ETs out there that are, past that stage. But again, we could be looking at one day they're here to conquer Earth.
That's true. I look at that as this Earth is their oasis. And there are things that they need here, whether it be some of our water, minerals, gems, certain things that we have that they need, and they don't want to destroy us. So they're being very, very cautious when they enter. And there are also, like we have, the good and the bad and the ugly. There are some of those also, some that come in and would destroy and not care, give two hoots about it.
That's a very good possibility. And, you talk about water and all that stuff, resources. If you go back to the Maya civilization, the Inca civilization, and past civilizations that disappeared, but, all of them, there was one thing that they took pride in. It was the most precious thing to them was gold for some reason. Not brass, not copper, not, lead, but gold. And, again, even in the medical field, gold is used in medical field, in medicines and stuff like that. I mean, if you really think about it, if you want to reboot a planet and create an atmosphere and a dome where they could live, it would require gold in it, actually. So maybe going back, many tens of thousands of years or more, that's how they originally came here to our resources on our planet.
I would have to agree with that. And gold is very important. Again, like you said, in the medical field. And we're using more and more in the way of robots to do surgery. It requires a lot of gold in the makeup of those robots. And those that they're training and building now to do things that we normally had done ourselves. Running big plants, manufacturing plants, automobiles, again, of medical devices. Oh gosh, I can't even think of the number of things that we need that for.
Again, too, with our technology, with artificial intelligence, it is advancing to the point, I think, in the next couple of years, it's going to be scary. But again, they probably look at artificial intelligence as a way of life. And again, a lot of people have told me some of these craft are living beings.
Yeah, and I saw one myself. Again, female in nature, but she said she was not tied to that craft, that she could come and go as wanted. I wondered at the time, did she free herself in spirit, or exactly what was she and how did she do that?
It's scary. Now, with people too abducting them, are they doing something else besides trying to collect, DNA? Because how many times do you have to keep collecting DNA? I would think that their technology, they collect it a few times, they can just keep reproducing it. But again, a lot of people say that they get taken into a room, they get prodded with needles, they get opened up, they get, all these weird things going on to them. And they feel a lot of the pain because they say the ETs don't comprehend or care about how much pain they inflict when they're doing these examinations.
That's true. However, I think that's a part of what they're trying to bring back to themselves. They have destroyed anything as far as emotions. They don't have that any longer, and hence they don't understand what we're doing when we get angry or upset with them. I had the insectoid look at me like, what are you doing? I was angry at him at first and looked at me, tipped his head like, what is this all about? He didn't understand at all what I was doing. My reaction to what he was poking me with. So I still think that they need to continue their work along those lines. I was shown vessels full of all stage of fetus. And I saw one as I stepped out of the craft with my escort that I call the quickening, because this thing, this fetus, this person opened its eyes and shuddered and looked at me in recognition as if that was probably mine.
Oh, wow. And do you feel any hate towards the ETs at all? Or do you feel love or compassion? Or do you have mixed feelings about it?
I have mixed feelings depending upon the species. I don't like the reptilians. They're up to no good, and I'd like to know with who. Again, I think it's some of our military. And why? All kinds of reasons, probably. My gray, the tall gray, that has always come for me and protected me, I feel emotionally for him. I miss him. I haven't seen him in probably 4 years or so.
Did they ever tell you what the future of our planet is?
Yes. And they've caused me to have kind of awakening dreams that paints a pretty grim picture of what's going to happen to us if we don't figure out how to bring peace to the earth. At first, what I was shown is not a whole earth explosion or implosion or fires, but certain sectors. I was shown, for instance, what I thought was a place in California, people walking on the street, everybody having a normal day, and then something hits that just causes all kinds of havoc and destruction of that whole town.
Well, that could be World War III, too. That's the whole point. And some people say that ETs would never allow us to go into a nuclear exchange. I don't know if I want to. It's like going to the casino. I don't want to find that out.
Yeah, I don't think that's true either, unless what we were doing and had developed far enough technology-wise that we would start to destroy the universe and their homes, that what we would do would affect that, and I think they would intervene at that point.
Well, they could be like, remember that TV and the book, A Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yes.
Well, the Earth is in the way. We want to make a super highway, and they push the button, and Earth is gone.
Yeah. And that could happen. I think they would find other methods and ways and means to get what they need, perhaps having to travel a little farther, whatever method they use, like a wormhole, vortex, that type of thing, a portal. They just have to find another way to get what they need.
Now, again, a lot of people, Denise, think that ETs are not ETs, but they're time travelers or they're interdimensional beings, but not coming from another planet. And then when I hear that, I think, God, they are so naive to think basically we are the only intelligent life, period.
True. I don't believe that these are time travelers, that they're repeating, that they've been here before as ETs. No, I think they live in other places, other planets, and it's been a long time effort on their part to come and visit this Earth. I think they're from all different areas in the universe and the galaxies.
Have you ever been explained, like the tall gray that has been your friend, what their planet is like?
I have. I was made to understand that their first planet, they destroyed it. Just like we're capable of doing this one. They destroyed it and had to move. And they moved to a much smaller planet. It was just terrifically small in size compared to the Earth. And they had to start all over again. They had to begin to create an atmosphere. They had to bring about their storms, the clouds, the rain, the light, heat, and cold. All of that had to be brought about on a planet that was barren. And I fear we're about to do that to Mars.
Yeah, but again, here's another thing. Technology and scientists, NASA even came out and said at this point, which is kind of makes you wonder if we ever went to the moon. Because what they've come out and said, that a human being off, like even at the space station, within about a year in the space station, their kidneys are shot. That's it. Not just that, the heart enlarges. Then they have all kinds of other things. So our bodies are made for this planet. So it makes me wonder, can we ever leave this planet and go to another planet? Or even the time traveling to get to another planet? What good is it going to be if we're, physically not able to do anything or even survive?
That's so true. We're going to try Destination Mars. And that's going to be dangerous. They're going to have to begin, what do they call it, terraforma, to begin to bring about growing things and creating an atmosphere there for ourselves. We're battling it out with other countries. Are we going to survive? Boy, that's a good question.
Well, if we actually did go to the moon, have you ever wondered why we haven't gone back to the moon and created a moon base?
Yeah, no, that's one that I wonder about. Is there a base up there already? And if so, who put it there? And that's supposed to be our next jumping off point to go to Mars, to begin to create these new places to live, because this Earth is falling apart and we're doing it. I don't know.
Well, we need to do something too, because, our weather has changed. Our whole Earth movement is going really fast. They're saying now, 100 years from now or less, the West Coast and part of the East Coast is not going to be there anymore. It's going to be underwater at this rate. The glaciers in Antarctica and all this stuff is melting way faster than they ever anticipated. So, we need help really fast. I think we really pushed and are past the tipping stone at this point.
Right. We're not paying attention to the warnings. I'm here in Florida, and I think near Orlando, where I live, it's going to be oceanfront if there's anything left at all of this state. Same with California. And there's a big section, and I believe it's Africa, that's splitting off. It's going to be an island, and it's long. It's up the whole coast. So that's changing. What's going to be left? I don't know.
Havana in Cuba, I don't know. But again, any of these ETs, have they ever showed you what our planet is going to look like in the future? Besides, being half destroyed or whatever. Have they have they talked about the Earth changes, how we're destroying our planet that way?
Myself and several others that I've worked with have said and have been shown that we're doing it. We're not trying to stop it. We feel like, oh, it's okay today, it's okay tomorrow, and the next day. It's not really going to happen yet. And when it does, we're going to be surprised because we haven't got brains enough to make it work and fix it now.
No, you're so right on it. But, again, maybe they think, well, it's not going to be in my lifetime, so I really don't care. But if you look at, your great grandkids, what are we going to leave them? I mean, that is really scary. So we do need help if we don't blow ourselves up here in the near future.
If we don't do that first. And that's part of, my research is, what is all this about? What are the men in black? Why have some of us been saved and healed by possible ETs? Can't be much else. And again, near-death experiences. Some of us have seen our ETs during that near-death episode. Trying to put all that together.
Yeah, and when you have a near-death experience, a person does, maybe they're saying it's not time for you to go. And they bring you back. Yeah. Again, I don't want to get into religion, but going back, early man, when they first started walking, if they saw a craft land and very intelligent compared to them entities walking around, they're going to worship them as gods or a god.
Yeah, that they will. And they have. Going back, like you said, back to biblical times, they think that's they believed that was some kind of God. And it all ties in with, well, then who was Jesus? Was he some fantastic psychic? Did he choose to come? And he pulled off all of those magical things that he did. Did he come too soon? Was he connected with the ETs? I mean, I don't like to get into the religious aspect of it either, but we have to question all of this.
Well, maybe he was ET.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You said it.
I mean, if you look at it, I mean, seriously, and God could be, again, I just go back to the times, they had the God of fire, the God of the mountain, God of Olympus, God of, water, God of this, God of that. And humans have always had to believe in something. If you strip that away from a human being, they would have nothing to look forward to with their life. And, crime would go, people wouldn't care. But because of their belief in God or gods, depending on your religion, I mean, that's what has tied civilization together for tens of thousands of years.
And to break that would be so dangerous right now. A lot of people, again, that I'm working with that have past life experiences or near-death experiences are seeing something called the source. And it's way off in the distance during their near-death experience, and they want to get to it. And they're being told that they cannot. And they're not calling it God. They're calling it a combination of God, Buddha, you name it. It's all one. It's all this big source that we came from.
It's very possible. Well, are you been gone? Did you go to any of the conventions lately on UFOs? Like Contact in the Desert or anything like that?
No, I wish that I had, and I just didn't. It was too much this past year. But I have a lot of friends that went and a lot of people that I talked to. So, boy, they're trying real hard to get this all figured out.
Oh, we all are, Congress sure didn't help us at all because, again, everybody thought we were going to get told the truth and disclosure. Never happened.
Right.
Now,
and I understand. Do you know who Lou Elizondo is?
Oh, yes.
Okay. His book's coming out in August. And there are things in there I understand that he should probably not disclose. He's having to now protect himself. And I don't know if he's going to do any book signings because of what he's written in there.
Yeah, that could be, something bad could happen over that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you have a website, a book, or anything you want to share out?
The Alien Abduction Files, written with Kathleen Marden. I don't have a website right now, but anybody that wants to contact me for support or help, DM Stoner, the number 1 at gmail.com.
Great. You want to go ahead and say it one more time?
Sure. D, M as in Margaret, Stoner, STON as in Nancy, ER, the number 1 at gmail.com.
Well, Denise, again, I want to thank you for coming on. The time went really fast. Of course, we did lose some time. Maybe the ETs did it. I don't know. But hey, I want to thank you again for being on. And I want you to enjoy the summer, will you?
Oh, and you too. And Gary, thank you so much for asking me back. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Okay, we're going to take a break. And with our next guest, it's going to be really a great show. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Check out our website at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com.
You're listening to my friend Geri Anderson on My Dreams Talk Radio, the best in paranormal radio.
Here now, the news. I'm Guy Ticker, Night Dreams Talk Radio Network news director, anchor reporter, and Mahjong tournament organizer. The Pentagon has disclosed that the government once considered a program to recover and reverse engineer any captured alien spacecraft. An effort that never came to fruition, but fueled conspiracy theories about a cover-up. The Defense Department recently released a public version of a congressionally ordered comprehensive review of classified U.S. government programs since 1945 that debunked decades of speculation about UFOs, saying it found no evidence of extraterrestrial activity or efforts to withhold information from Congress. Sure. Looking for Bigfoot or UFO-themed merchandise? Look no further. Explore Night Dreams Talk Radio's store for an array of paranormal goodies, from t-shirts to mouse pads to socks to whatever the heck that thing is. Don't miss out on these unique items. Check us out today at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. While you're checking out the cool merchandise, go to the latest news tab to find out what's going on in the world and outside the world. Again, go to www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. Deep in the Amazon jungle, one man.
Hi, I'm Stan Gordon. Check out the Night Dreams Talk Radio with Geri the Big Guy.
Yeah, let me finish. One man.
Hi, I'm Mark Muncy. Check out Night Dreams Talk Radio with Geri the Big Guy.
Yeah, do you mind? One man, naked and afraid.
I'm losing my mind.
You and me both, sister. One man, Geri the Big Guy. No boats, no lights, no motor cars, not a single luxury.
Hey, any more and you'll have to pay a royalty.
Okay, that's it.
Hit it.
From the summer vacation studios deep in the Amazon jungle, from that tree right there. See at the top, he's swinging.
I'm losing my mind.
Twice?
All right. Coming to you live, for now, on Night Dreams Talk Radio, naked and afraid, Geri, the Big Guy Anderson.
And we are back, JC. I tell you that. A lot of weird things are going. Is there something about the atmosphere going on, or something strange today that you didn't tell me about?
So there could be something in the air, I guess. Yeah, some would say it smells, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. The audio is not good. The computers crashed at the start of the show. I don't know what it is. I can just even barely hear you. So, I mean, I don't know what is going on tonight.
Yeah, something's going on. I don't know if it's something in the atmosphere. It smells fishy, Geri.
I paid the power bill. I paid the internet bill. I don't know what it could be. Well, our next guest, I had children 8 of them actually, and one of our favorite shows when they were young was The Facts of Life. Do you remember that show?
I do remember that show. It was a great show for its era, for sure.
Well, it taught us a lot. It really did, with morals, and it always had a plot on that. Well, let's find out a little bit more information about Geri.
The remarkable Geri Jewell shattered glass ceilings for individuals with disabilities when she was cast by Norman Lear in the hit series The Facts of Life, and then again in the HBO series Deadwood. As a result of a tragic accident, Geri was born with cerebral palsy. Little Jewell, as the hospital dubbed her, was not expected to live. However, she went on to live an amazing life as an inspiration to multiple generations of actresses, comedians, and all handy, capable people everywhere when she became the first person with a disability to appear in a recurring role on television. She made TV history on December 24th, 1980, when she appeared on NBC in The Facts of Life. 30 years later, millions of people remembered her groundbreaking role as Cousin Geri during her 4 seasons on the HBO hit series Deadwood. Her candid memoir, I'm Walking as Straight as I Can, details Geri's powerful life story experiences, from her traumatic birth in Buffalo, New York, to her rise to stardom as a stand-up comic to becoming a television star. She documents the harsh realities of show business by recounting the relentless discrimination and abuse she suffered at the hands of people she trusted. Her experiences in the shark-infested waters of Hollywood led her on a journey from the Comedy Store to the White House, followed by a downward spiral, tax problems, drug addiction, a failed marriage, and an accident that nearly claimed her life. Geri recounts subjects that many readers can and do relate to. Geri Jewell joined the list of participants at the United Nations for The Art of Engagement, an entertaining approach to building awareness about persons with disabilities. The event, organized by Ability Awareness and the UN Department of Public Information, marked the 6th session of the Conference of States Parties to the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, and it discussed ways the arts and the entertainment industry can engage audiences and raise awareness of everyone's abilities. On June 14th, 2013, Geri was a presenter at the Creative Arts Emmy Awards and was a guest keynote speaker at the White House in April of 2014. Geri is the recipient of the SoCal Motion Picture Council's Lifetime Achievement Award and is currently preparing her new one-woman show by the same title as her book, I'm Walking as Straight as I Can. Geri was honored in 2023 alongside Fran Drescher and Michael Feinstein with the Mitch O'Farrell Leadership Award, presented by mentor Norman Lear.
Well, Geri, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you.
Well, I'm so happy to have you on the show.
Well, thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
How old are you? I'm hearing feedback. Am I on a speaker or something?
You're on a speaker.
Okay.
Are you hearing a whistle?
Oh, yeah, I was hearing myself talk. I don't even like hearing myself talk originally.
Is it a whistling sound? Okay.
Okay. How old were you, Geri, when you started getting interested in comedy? Was it because of your disability that you got into comedy? Or what got you into comedy and acting?
Well, I think I've always had that love for the arts in that way. I started writing Carol Burnett when I was about 12 and told her that when I grew up, I wanted to do what she did.
And she was your mentor.
She always wrote me back.
That's nice when it happens. I did the same thing when I was young. I always wanted to be in broadcasting. And, my dad had a friend who was a famous actor, and he connected me with people like Merv Griffin, people like Jack Benny. And actually,
oh, wow.
And Jack Benny would, take hours of conversations on the phone with me. And he always said he was going to build me. Yeah, he was such a great person. But they gave me the nudge to do what I'm doing at radio. I've been in radio 54 years. And
wow.
It's in my blood. Like with you, you had a disability. And I know how disabilities are. My daughter was born without a thyroid, and she was developmentally and physically delayed many years because of not having a thyroid. And growing up, how hard was that for you?
I'd say the thing that was most difficult was that I was bused to another city to go to school, so I didn't really grow up having friends in my own neighborhood.
Interesting. How about, when did you get the urge to be, wanting to be on, an actress?
Well, it's interesting. When I was about 13, I was still in special ed, and I wrote 3 plays and put one on, and I always had it in me to perform, to write, to act, to make people laugh, make people think.
Yeah, well, you did a very good job of that in Facts of Life, you know.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
What was that like doing that show? Can you tell the listeners what it was like, you know, being on Facts of Life and acting in it? And what were the people, the other actors or actresses like?
Well, it was a surreal event to happen. You know, I performed at this 2nd annual Media Access Awards where Norman Lear saw me. And 2 or 3 months later, he cast me on Facts, Blair's cousin. And I have to say, it was a very warm welcome. It was a wonderful cast. I was older than a lot of the other girls. Not older than Charlotte. Not older than Charlotte Ray. But they were all very sweet.
Oh, yeah. And did you... Oh, go ahead.
Lisa Welchel and I became very close. And I actually became her roommate for about a year.
Very interesting. And you did that for what, 4 years on Facts of Life?
Not the 4 years completely. I think I did 12 episodes of Facts of Life.
Over 4 years. Yeah, 4 years. Yeah. And I can't, Mrs. Garrett, or what was she like?
What was who like?
Oh, the mother hen of the household,
the
housekeeper.
Charlotte Ray was a sweetheart, very loving and supportive of all the girls, including me.
You know, the part, did she act, was she anything like the part she played in real life?
Well, she was a mother. She was a mother to all those girls, all of us. I think at the time I was 23 when I got Facts of Life, and Lisa was 17, and I think the other ones were 16 and 15.
Oh,
so
wow.
I was the oldest. I was a young 23-year-old. If you had seen me at the time or knew me, you would probably think I was 16 or 15 or 14, but I was 23.
Oh, wow. Well, you didn't look it.
Well, thank you.
And
thank you.
And then from when Facts of Life was over, what was your next gig?
Oh, God. Marriage, I think. I think that was my next gig.
Okay, well, after that. Now, wait a minute. But after, okay, you got married.
Yes, I did. I did. And I was with my husband for 12 years, and we were married for 10 of them. And then it didn't work out, and I did have an accident a year later and hurt my neck and recovered from that. And I honestly did not think that I was going to have a career after that. But I did. I was in a drugstore of all places in Santa Monica, and I was in line getting Botox to give to the doctor to put it in my neck for chronic pain.
Uh-huh.
And this man turned around in line. He goes, "Oh my God, you're Jerry Jewell." And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "I'm a huge fan of yours." And I said, "Well, thank you." And he said, "Hey, I haven't seen you on TV in a long time. What are you doing with your life now?" I said, "Botox." He said, "No, seriously." And I said, "Seriously, I'm doing Botox." And he said, "Do you want a television series?" I said, "What?" He said, do you want a television series? I said, hey, this is a pharmacy. It's not nice to play with someone's mind in a pharmacy. He said, no, in case you don't recognize me, my name is David Milch. David Milch, the executive producer of NYPD Blue? And he said, yep. And I said, well, Mr. Milch, I'm flattered that you love my work and that you believe in me, but I would make a real shitty cop. And he said, no, I just signed a contract with HBO. It's a Western called Deadwood. You want to do a Western? And I looked up as far as my titanium neck would allow me, and I said, God, you have a real quirky sense of humor. I mean, I'm standing here with cerebral palsy, a titanium neck, and David Milch here wants me to ride a horse.
Oh.
But and he wrote his phone number on a prescription pad for Prozac, and he told me to call him. And I did, and the rest is history.
And you were on between 2004 to 2006, Deadwood, you were on 23 episodes, if I'm right.
24 episodes.
24?
Total. Yeah.
What was that like, being in Deadwood?
It was the most incredible cast of people I have ever worked with, crew and cast. It was just a phenomenal experience to do a period piece like that. And yeah, it was incredible.
And wasn't there a sequel to it at one point back, the movie Deadwood?
Say that again?
Wasn't there a movie, a TV movie, Deadwood?
Yes, we filmed that in 2018, and we all aged 10 years except me, so I never aged, what can I say? So they had to put a wig on me and glasses and make me look a lot older than I was.
Some people age, I'll be honest with you. When I was 17, I looked 21. And that had disadvantages because I could sneak in with my friends into the bar. Bad part of my life. And I tell you, I wish I would have, but then then at a certain age, I found a way to keep looking younger. You know what that is?
What?
Eat a lot of food. It makes your skin stretch out and you don't get wrinkles.
I think I'm too late for that.
You were also in 1982, I Love Liberty. It was a TV special. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. That was Norman Lear's production for People for the American Way. It was an incredible night. Huge celebrities like Robin Williams, Patty Duke, Christopher Reeve, Barbara Streisand. Just to name a few. Mary Tyler Moore. I was the only person in the whole show who was not mania per se, but Norman cast me as the American disabled person. That's creative. Hey. No, it was an amazing experience. And what do you want me to say? I Love Liberty. It was in front of 25,000 people. What a lot of people don't know is that I have a hidden disability, and that is I am hearing impaired.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah. I have 75% hearing loss now. I'm wearing hearing aids. In fact, that's the whistling you might be getting over the air.
Okay, now that does make sense. I was freaking out, but that makes sense. But at least you can hear, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, and I apologize for the whistle. I think I dropped my hearing aid once that cracked the mold. So that's why it's whistling. Oops.
And in 1985, you also were on Sesame Street.
Yes, I was. I did Sesame Street in '85, and that was an amazing thing. I got to roller skate with Big Bird. Well, actually, they had told me that stand-up comedy wouldn't be good for little 4-year-olds. Do you have something that 4-year-olds can relate to? You know, kids, something fun. And I said, well, I can roller skate. And, you know, the minute that left my lips, I thought, wow, not only do I have cerebral palsy, I have mental health issues.
Oh, wow. And
I mean, I knew how to skate as a kid. In fact, my parents bought me shoe skates from Christmas. But I never learned how to stop. And I never knew how to use those rubber tips. And when we did the dress rehearsal the night before, wardrobe forgot the skates. So they put on the skates the next day in front of a live audience, which I didn't wear the night before. And I didn't realize how fast they were. And they put me on, there's your cue, go. So I rolled out on stage. And the first thing I realized was, wow, what a short stage. It didn't seem this short last time.
How did you stop?
Well, it depended on where I shifted my weight. I could have slammed into the camera. I could have gone right into the studio audience. But I thought the wisest thing was to lean towards Big Bird. And I slammed into him so hard that his head fell off.
Wait a minute. Now, which head fell off? The costume head or his real head?
His costume head.
Okay. I wanted to clear that up.
If the other head came off, it would have been in the Inquirer.
Yeah, little kids would have been screaming.
Oh, they were screaming anyway. They thought I killed them. And he put his head back on, and we did the whole thing over again. He said I was the only celebrity guest that ever decapitated him.
You know, but here, you know what? I didn't have any disabilities other than being slow. You know, my parents made me, when I was like 12, 13 years old, there was a skating rink up where we lived, but down the road. And they would drop me off on the weekends there to go roller skating. And
okay.
But here's the problem. Just like you, no one told me how to stop. So I would get up speed, and then here would be the wall, and I'd do a face plant into the wall. Boom. And then I could turn, and then I'd start again, and then there'd be another wall. And I would do that.
Yeah, that's how I skated when I was a kid. Same deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like slamming into walls. It does do something to your nose when you get older. And then after Sesame Street, you did the New Lassie. I vaguely remember the New Lassie series.
I did. And that was enjoyable. That was, I met with Al Burton, who was one of the producers of Fact of Life, and he gave me the Lassie episode. I played a doctor, believe it or not. And I saved Lassie's life.
Oh, yeah. But I got to warn you, that's not the original Lassie of the original series, by the way.
Oh, I know it is.
No, but I'm just telling the listeners that because the original Lassie's is almost as old as I am. You know, I remember watching Timmy on that.
Yeah, this was a new version of the Lassie, but it was a cute show. It was with God, she did E.T.
Oh yeah, it was good. Hey, now Geri, we need to take about
it was Dee Wallace.
Dee Wallace.
Trying to think of her name.
Yeah.
Dee Wallace was in it. Yes.
Yeah. We need to take about a 4-minute break, so don't hang up. I got to do a break for the radio stations and everything. So we'll be back with Geri right after this. You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio. Well, we're going to find out a lot more about Geri. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
cancel it though. I know it must be the killing time. Unwillingly mine. Fate, he will wait until you give yourself to him. In starlit nights I saw you, so cruelly you kissed me. Your lips a magic world, your sky all hung with jewels. The killing moon will come too soon. Fate up against your will, through the thick and thin.
The biggest names, the brightest stars on the red carpet and on the air with Geri Anderson. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, when it comes to the big get, Gary's got him. Like voiceover artist Jim Meskimen. Is his mom really Mrs. C on Happy Days? Allison Arngrim from Little House on the Prairie. Oh, speaking of Little House, Gary's got Dean Butler from the show talking about his book, Prairie Man, My Little... to Geri Anderson, because you never know who's gonna show. That's why we do these promos, right? Gary's of Night Dreams Talk Radio, you're listening to Geri Anderson. He's the bomb.
The size of nuclear bombs today has evolved from the 1960s so that they are smaller but more accurate.
Hey, are we talking about weapons or Geri?
Even if the total megatonnage was actually less, the explosive force would be spread out more efficiently across the metropolitan area. So in that case, the actual...
Here I am, and we're back with Geri. You know, again, you've been in a lot of TV shows, a lot of different things, and a comedy. How's that?
And Norman saw me perform and came up to me afterwards and said, "You're really funny, kid, but you're way before your time." Basically, he did. About 2 months later, I was cast as Blair's cousin. And Norman has always been in my corner. He is an incredible man. He came to the event and presented me with the LGBT Leadership Award. When he was 100 years old, he took the time to do that. And he also wrote the foreword for my newest book that is out now. And I will be doing a book signing at the Grove on August 7th. And the book is called Geri's Jewels and Gems. And I'm very excited about this book.
How long did it take you to write it, Geri?
Well, this book is a little different. This is not autobiography per se. It is a collection of columns that I had written for years for Ability magazine. And they let me use my writings in this book. And there's fun pictures, fun articles, and of course, Norman wrote the foreword at 101, if you can imagine.
Wow. Now, also, in your life, you had some pitfalls, didn't you? In your life. And you had to pull yourself up. Can you share some of the problems you had?
Problems or what? I don't understand.
Well,
what do
you had problems one time with taxes. You had problems with drugs or something. Somebody told me.
I have always had a hard time sleeping, and that's typical of CP. So I did get trapped into that for a little while with sleeping pills, and that's about it. I never did any other kind of drug.
You know, again, a lot of people, you know, when the doctors give it to you, I've had problems with chronic pain. You know, back a few years ago, I injured my leg, and, you know, they were giving me, you know, Tylenol 3s. And I was, hey, I would take a Tylenol 3, I'd feel better. And then they gave me prednisone, which is a steroid.
Yes,
and
I know.
And they made a mistake on the dosage. The doctor, like 3 times what the amount should have been. And
oh my God!
And the problem was that I thought I was having a mental. Give you this stuff, and it's a Band-Aid. They don't tell you what the effects would be down the road.
That could be it too, and I agree with that. I deal with a lot of chronic pain today. I always will, because I have cerebral palsy and aging has a lot of issues, and rheumatoid arthritis and stuff like that. I have a titanium neck. I have dystonia. So, sometimes it's tricky. I have
rheumatoid arthritis myself. And
then you understand completely.
Yeah, and again, I was naive. I didn't ask the doctor any questions. They prescribed medicine for it. Hey, I take the medicine. Oh, I can bend my fingers, and all my joints. Yep. But then,
like I said, it's a tricky journey. You got to be careful.
Yeah,
you got to eat, exercise.
Future on stage or TV or movies or anything going on?
Well, there is talk about a documentary on my life. So that's in the talks right now. Nothing's solidified yet, but we're working on it. And the book is very exciting. I mean, I'm just thrilled to have this book out, because it's interesting, because I read a lot of the columns when I got the book about 3 weeks ago from the publisher. And I realized that a lot of the columns apply today, even though they were maybe written in 2013, 2014, they apply today. And there's a lot of funny stuff in that new book. I am so proud of it.
Where can you find the book at?
You can get it on Amazon, or you can go to barnesandnoble.com and get it that way. And there should be a link.
And also,
there's a lot of fun stuff on that, and there's information on the new book, and I don't know what else to tell you.
Okay. And in 2014, you were on one of my favorite shows, Glee.
Yes, I did. I played the evil producer who... I love playing a mean character, because all my characters have always been nice.
What was it like from being a nice, sweet, lovable, to being mean?
Oh, I just could think of different people that I thought were that way, and just based my character on them.
Yeah. Well, I
listened to Michelle Lee sing the actress who played the singer, one of the students. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. She was on Broadway.
Uh-huh.
And she sang The Rose in the episode.
Oh, boy. JC, do you know who?
Who is it?
Unless she's talking about Michelle Lee or...
Yes.
Michelle Lee.
Yeah.
I can't think. What is her name? I should know it.
Michelle Lee?
So, anyway, it was an enjoyable... it was enjoyable to play a Bitch.
Okay. Well, I think my producers must have watched that, because I think he picked up that from you.
No comment.
Leah Michelle.
Oh,
that's what it was.
Wow.
Leah Michelle.
Okay.
She sang The Rose, and I acted like, oh wow, this is horrible.
You also played in Strong Medicine as Holly.
I did. God, you know everything. Yeah, I did do strong medicine, and that was fun too. I auditioned for it and got the role and started working the following week.
Yeah, and you did play a cop. You know that. Back in 1990, one of my favorite shows, 21 Jump Street.
I did, but that was pushing it. That was a script that I wrote, the treatment I wrote for the story. And I played an undercover cop. And it was a stretch, I admit. But it was fun.
Well, you're a fun person, too. What I always liked about you're always bubbly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, hey, our time is up again. Is there anything you want to say to the listeners? Because we got a lot of people on chat and they're loving you.
You know, just no matter what life brings you, you have to get up and try it again. I mean, never give up. I mean, look at me. I'm here and I'm going to be 68 this year. And I've written another book. I mean, who could have foretold that? You know, and if I had given up a long time ago, you wouldn't have this book.
Oh, yeah. Well, 68, you're young yet. You're a teenager compared to me. I wish I was 68 again. I'll tell you that.
Well, I feel older. I think it's because of all the physical challenges I have. My body feels older. My mind feels younger. Let's put it that way.
That's one thing I have realized. I can't do what I used to do. But, my brain can't comprehend that because my brain, I still feel 5 years old.
Oh, okay.
Well, hey,
all right, I get that.
Yeah. Hey, Geri, I want to thank you so much, taking the call. I know you're a very busy person. And I want
thank you.
And, keep in touch. And I am going to order that book. You know that.
Oh, I hope you love it. Thank you.
Okay, Geri, you have a great weekend, will you?
I will. You too. Thank you for the call.
Okay, thank you so much. JC will be right back, so don't go anywhere. You're listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio.
Come along on a unique journey of adventure and discovery. Read On the Trail of Bigfoot, a first-hand account from paranormal researcher and skilled outdoorsman Mike Dupler on his many years of investigations into the Bigfoot phenomena and his personal encounters with these enigmatic creatures of the forest, complete with photographs. Don't delay. Order your copy today. This book will inspire those who have answered the call to seek this elusive creature, the Bigfoot. The truth is out there. On the Trail of Bigfoot by Mike Dupler. Available now at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and IndieBound.org. Coming to you live and covering all time zones like a glove. Here's Geri Anderson on Night Dreams Talk Radio.
Well, I'm glad we're back. And Geri, JC, is refreshing because here she grew up with a major disability. And look what she accomplished all these years. And where a lot of people, they have a disability, they just say, okay, and they don't go anywhere. And she still had the wants and desires. And look what she accomplished. She accomplished a lot in those 68 years.
She did. I'm going to tell you something. She may be a woman, but it took a lot of cojones to go to the Comedy Store in 1978 to do stand-up. Let me tell you something. If she got over that hurdle, she could do anything.
Oh, yeah. And, again, stand-up. But, again, Facts of Life, Deadwood, a whole bunch of different things and roles. But, I found the most interesting, her roller skating and taking the head off of,
A big bird.
Big bird.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the kids in the audience crying?
Oh, Oh, they went home horrified. Big Bird got decapitated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that wasn't that's a notch in her belt. As she said, she was the only one to ever do that.
Well, but look at this. They probably never explained to her. They should have had somebody there to stop her. I mean, just like I was saying with me, when my parents made me, maybe they wanted quiet time on Saturdays with, hey, get rid of Geri and, whoopee time. And they would take me down to the skating rink and drop me off for hours. And no one ever told me what you're supposed to do. They just said, okay, get your skates, you put them on, you lace them up, and you start skating after you fall down about 30 times. But no one ever told me how to turn or how to stop.
Wait a minute. You said a trigger word that I've heard in many game shows in the 70s.
Whoopee time?
You said whoopee. What does that mean, Geri?
I can't say that over the air.
Okay. Does that mean you're happy? Or
I get. Well, not really. They were happy I was gone out of the house. Who knows what they were doing?
Dropping you off to the
yeah. But could you imagine? You're a young kid, right? And you don't want to make a fool out of yourself, right? And you're the only one out of maybe 150 kids skating around a circle. And you don't go around the circle, you hit the wall. But the thing is, you don't slow down. You hit the wall, whatever speed you're going at. And then sometimes you would end up on your butt because the impact was so hard, you went over backwards. Then you had to get up. And then, boy, that's the interesting part. You ever try to get up on roller skates?
Oh, let me tell you something. And here's the weird part. I started roller skating in the 70s, and it was different back then because, first of all, my mom and dad, they could turn around, do backwards. They grew up in the 50s, man. They were like professional skaters, okay? They say, but these only get out there. So I go out there, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was pretty athletic. I was pretty good until but they didn't have a wall. What I hit was like a waist-high railing, and I went over the rail.
Yeah, I did that too. By the concession stand, there was a rail. So when you made that turn and you came back, there was that rail there. And I don't know how many times I'd knocked, there'd be guys right there with their girlfriends and they have sodas and you slam into them and you get covered with pop. They get covered with pop. Then they wait till you leave. And then they get you outside of the skating rink and beat you up. You got me all wet. You made me look like a fool in front of my new girlfriend.
You had a rough skating time. That's right. You're in a little older generation, a little bit rough. They took skating serious then. I'm telling you.
No, they just wanted me out of the house on the weekend.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah. But I will say, you know what? Remember the Beach Boys? Everybody knows who the Beach Boys. They would actually come up to a place in Seattle called White Center, and they played.
Wow.
At the roller skating rink one time. That was back,
Sure.
Early 60s, late 50s. I don't know what it was. Back when about the time they invented the car.
That was amazing. Then, speaking of skating, I seen these roller skaters. They were just out of their mind. They put them in those motorcycle things at the fair. They're like going upside down, doing 360s. I'm like, who are these people? I'm going over walls and railings and stuff, and these guys are doing tricks.
If God wanted us to roller skate, he would have put wheels on our feet.
Yeah, that's right. Same way with flying. They'd put wings on our back.
Now, changing the subject from roller skating to, abductions by ETs.
Yes.
I am still puzzled. I mean, if people are being abducted, what is the motive? Like I keep saying over and over and over again, how many times can they collect the DNA? How many times are they going to open up a human body to see what makes it tick? To me, that doesn't make logical sense.
Well, and that's a very good point. And it puts a lot of validation into that whole false flag thing where they say, they're faking these abductions so they can build up the psychological thing. And because let's face it, you make a good point. If they got 1 billion years advanced, they wouldn't have to keep abducting people. Common sense would tell you that. Like, they got the technology to get here. and you want to abduct somebody, you don't only have to do it one time. Think about that. That's it.
Yeah,
Really.
I mean, you can collect if they're that far advanced, right? I mean, why would they have to keep collecting it? They could just reproduce it. So if you think about that, but the other thing is really puzzled. I was reading an article last night. We have somebody stuck up at the space station right now because their craft, they don't know if the parachute's going to open up if it went back. They don't know if it'll blow up because of helium leak on it, or they end up out somewhere in space and never, heard of again. And here's the thing. You think of all our technology, why are we in that position? The other thing is NASA came out and said that a human, their kidneys would totally quit functioning after about a year in space.
Yeah, that's
it would
interesting.
do major kidney damage. It would destroy the kidneys. So if that's the case, how could you go to the moon for a year? How could you be transported to Mars without having major organs in your body, stop working and you're going to die?
Well, and that's a good point, because isn't the journey to Mars 6 months to a year? That's one way, maybe, if you time it right. But I don't know. I think, like you say, they might want to take some practice runs to the moon. If we've been there, it should be easy to get there and come back just as practice, right?
Yeah, but again, if your kidneys and heart, will fail after about a year in space. Like I said, the people up in the space station, they come back and they're not just, they have heart problems. They got all type of organ problems. They have structural problems with their skeletal, again, they're giving up a lot to go up there to do what they're doing, but to go on and have a base on the moon or to create a base on another planet, if that's the case, what are you you're on the moon for, maybe they can keep you up there for a month or two, but I mean, if you want to travel space, the human body just can't do it at this point. Yeah. So everything we've been told about space travel now is contradicted by what NASA and what the medical experts are saying, that a human body cannot go for more than a year in space without basically dying.
Yeah, the human body was not made to be in space for very long at all. Not at all. Look at the two twins. The one went up for, 30 days or 20 days or something, come back, and his DNA was completely changed and different. They compared the two. I think one was even shorter than.
And the other one had an enlarged heart from it, too.
Yes. Yeah, that's correct. Your organs, everything's not. The human body is just not meant to be in space. So here's the thing. You're going to have to come up with some kind of technology that would neutralize the gravity to make it equal to what it is here on Earth. And I don't even know if we're even close to that kind of technology.
I don't know. You think we're going to go to Mars in the near future? They keep talking about we're going to go back to the moon. But boy, this country is so broke. We can't even, That's not going to, we're supposed to have already been back on the moon. You know that. And they keep pushing out another couple of years.
Now, wait a minute. We went to the moon 55 years ago with a computer that was the size of a house that had the technology of
No, our computers were about the size of would take up a living room. Okay. Then whatever size computer they had on the spacecraft would have had, put it this way, your digital watch has more memory capability than the computer had on that spacecraft. And I'm not saying we didn't go to the moon. I'm just puzzled because if you look at what our electronics was at that time to go to the moon and do what they did and to come back, it makes you just wonder if we actually did go to the moon or not.
Well, that's what I was trying to say. Not only with that technology back then, 50 some years ago, but we did it successfully, 5 or 6 times, I believe. And now you fast forward, another 50 years, and it's like we lost the technology. We haven't been no further out than a couple hundred miles. It just doesn't, why? It doesn't compute. It doesn't make sense, Gary. And I know they can say all kind of different, no money, no budgeting. We've already done that. But you know what? The first person that went across the United States, it was like, oh, we already didn't say, oh, we already done that. We're going to do it again. Mankind was meant to, get out there and explore. That's what we are. We're explorers.
Yeah, but we haven't even explored our own planet yet. There's places in the Amazon. There's places all over this planet, including Antarctica. Do you know there is so much of Antarctica we have never explored? There's so many places in Washington State in the forest that no man has ever put his foot on. And yet, we're talking about exploring and we don't even know what's in the deeps of our own ocean. That kind of puzzles me, again, but I don't know. I can tell you what, if I had a chance to go to the moon, I would say, like Jackie Gleason said, one of these days, pow, right in the kiss it to the moon. I'm telling you, I would never go to the moon, even if I was 27 in real life. But I don't know. I got another question to ask you. Are we actually real? Are we a computer program? Are we a hologram? Is what we're doing right now, is that a dream? Or when you go to bed at night, is that real?
The top scientists say that the odds of that is 50-50. And I'll think about that for a minute, because here's the thing. Even if you asked the top AI that had to give you a straight answer, it would tell you 50-50, or it couldn't tell you yes. You get what I'm saying? So it's a conundrum for sure, because there's a lot of weird things that happen, Gary, as you know. What's the answer of these things? Some people say, that's the reason behind the Mandela effect, actually.
Yeah, or the vanilla effect where you put it with your ice cream. Right.
Listen. There's nothing worse than the vanilla effect, I guess, as you say. But no, seriously, that's what one of the theories is. And there's all the time you see these videos glitch in the system where it shows a plane just looks like it's sitting in the sky. I don't know. It's pretty freaky sometimes.
But, again, I never believed in Bigfoot. I never believed in time travel. I never did. But what really has screwed my brain up is when I have talked about on my time slip I've had with my 2 sons.
Yeah.
It just makes me wonder if we are really flesh and blood in a sense of really being human, or are we something else? Maybe, you ever think of that? Maybe some ETs came and they blew up the planet accidentally. So they just regenerated the thoughts and created a hologram planet.
Or the one theory, we are an alien kids science project who's in about the 4th grade, and
you're thinking of Twilight Zone, aren't you?
Yeah, we put them up in the attic and store them, and hopefully the parents don't clean the attic out and throw us away, because we're still activating. To us, it's our own little world.
I don't know. And honestly, if something ever bad happened, do you think ETs would stop a nuclear exchange?
If they stopped it, it wouldn't be because of us. It would be because maybe it would tear something in a multiverse that they're from or something, or interdimension. It wouldn't be because to save us, if that ever happened.
I don't think they would, because look at what we have done. Humans are such terrible creatures. You really think about it. If you go back to Cain and Abel, which I always bring up, and go back through and go forward from there, look what we have done. And it's nonstop.
Well, yeah, and I think there's been over 2,000 or however many set off in the history, and they didn't do nothing to stop any of those. They didn't stop the ones that was in, the big one there, the first two. So there's no track record of them, coming or holding anything. Now, there is theories that this enlightened them and brought attention to it because we were messing with maybe the inner dimensions and with their part of their inner dimension or their world that they're in. But again, I don't think it would be too safe.
I wouldn't hold my breath on it.
No, I wouldn't either.
No, I don't know. Now, we're off next week, aren't we? And because next week is the 4th. And so we decided to take off. I'm going to be revamping the studio with all new cables and moving stuff around. You're going to be having a little fun, hopefully booking some fantastic guests like our guest Geri tonight. And who's our guest, though, when we come back after our little short vacation?
Hey, we've got Debbie Cobble coming on. She is who Bud Hopkins wrote about in his book Intruders. Okay.
That's going to be good.
Yeah, she's going to be good. So I'm looking really forward to having her on. She's never been on the show before, so that's going to be a good one. And then the Friday, we've got a double feature. We have Steve Neal coming on. He is into the Hollywood scene, but he's also into the UFO world, and he has an abduction support group that he runs and some stuff and research into that field too. Followed by Marcus Allen talking about the pyramids. I'm going to tell you something. If Marcus Allen can give information on the pyramids, who built them, and theories and where they come, it's amazing what he can talk about with the pyramids.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be really interesting a week after that. And again, we're going to probably have by Monday 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. And on the radio side, the app side, we're doing fantastic. But if you guys out there, want to make a little donation to help out on Super Chat, that's cool. Because I'll tell you what, as more we grow, the more bandwidth we use, the more bandwidth, it's more expensive. And I'll tell you what, I have JC, my producer, going around collecting pop bottles and taking them into the frickin' store to get the 13 cents, on each bottle. How many bottles do you got in your garage right now?
Oh, I got 5.
We need quite more than 5.
I know.
Have you thought about aluminum cans?
I have thought about them, but was I supposed to do more than just think about them? Oh, yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Do you have a skill saw?
I don't know how skilled it is, but I have a saw.
Okay. Have you ever thought of crawling underneath the car and get a catalyst converter?
Yeah, yours. Yeah. But listen, if somebody would happen to donate $20 or more, what would they receive, Gary?
A thank you. No, they would get a Night Dreams Talk t-shirt, and we even pay the shipping. Yeah.
Oh, man, you can't beat that because, listen, just to buy the shirt alone costs more, and plus the shipping. So I can mean.
And you know what else we can do? If they send us a JPEG picture, about 1 megabyte, 2 megabyte file of their face, a good shot, that is, not a cruddy one, we can then take the alien off the t-shirt and it'll say Night Dreams Talk Radio and they can have their face on it.
A nice clear picture. And you can put that on there all for the simple little donation of $20 or more.
Yeah. And, if this is your favorite show, that's another thing. The studio for YouTube, it tells me where our audience is. Remember I was telling you Malaysia, Singapore, all these, weird places, Malaysia, right. Portugal. Now we're getting really popular in France and Sweden. I think we picked up 1,300 subscribers in Sweden in the last couple of days.
Oh, wow. Nice. Yeah, picking them up. All these, a lot of the Norwegian or the Nordic kind of countries there have been picking up more listeners from there.
It's strange. What we need to do is, somebody got mad at me earlier today and sent me a nice little message from my show page on Facebook. Says, hey, we can talk whatever we want to talk about on chat. I guess you can, but the whole point of chat is to communicate with us about the topic of the show that night and what the guest is saying. And if you have a question you want to know from the guests, all you have to do is type it in there and we'll ask that question and get the answer for you. That's the whole purpose of chat. Become part of the show. People care about if you watered your lawn last night.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can ask. We monitor the chat, and if there is a question, that's not off the charts, weird or something, yeah, we'll definitely give it to the guest to ask, because some of these guests we got coming on, Gary, they live fascinating lives, man. How many chances you're going to have in your lifetime to ask a certain guest a certain question? Think about that.
Yeah. Well, the next time, don't we have Thomas Jane coming back on?
We do. As a matter of fact, when is he coming back on? He's coming back on in August 16th. So, yes.
Yeah, when you talk to him, let's talk a little bit, see if he'll talk a little bit about his current project in Australia.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, his new series, or one of his new season 2 of his series, Topo, which I love that show, and it's from Australia, is coming out here in July. So I'm looking forward to that.
And last time he was on, worldwide on YouTube, there's been 37,543 downloads from
38
him being on.
38,000 now.
It's up to 38?
Yeah, I just looked at one, but it was 38.
Again, people think we don't have anybody out there watching our show, but there's a lot out there.
Well, I can tell you what, that 38,000 views on the YouTube, I've looked on some other, I haven't seen any other shows even close to that as far as views with Thomas Jane.
Again, I just want to say to all the listeners and all the truckers and all the listeners worldwide, I want to thank you. I mean, I was shocked to find out how many people we're picking up worldwide. Now, let's face it, when we're doing the show right now, what time it is in Singapore. It's a delayed thing. So when our show goes up, they're going to sit there and watch it the day or day after that. So that's where, and I've been getting a lot of people say they're binge watching the show. You get hooked on it. They're watching episode after episode.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's the beauty of it being worldwide, because you think about it, Australia for me is 15-hour time difference, 18 or so with you. So that's just one example. So all around the world, you're getting people at different times and different days. So in about 3 days, those views really start to stack up because people all around the world are tuning in.
Yeah, Roy mentioned that there's no donation button. It's Super Chat. You go on to chat and you can just make a donation for your Super Chat. That's how it's done. It's not a donation button. You just, go on Super Chat or chat, and there's a part where you can kind of give us a gift. I'll take a 1959 Rolls Royce, red with silver. How's that?
Yes, we're looking for a 70 Charger 346 pack, please.
Yeah, InfoWars. Remember that? That ain't going to be around much longer.
Those things are still around?
InfoWars.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, what do you mean? The whole kind of, they were like a 30-minute commercial.
No, InfoWars. InfoWars was I'm not going to mention his name, but it was a news type of broadcast on the internet. That he was a multi-millionaire. He lost it all because of something that had happened. And that's another thing. People are getting scared to what they can say or not say over the air because it can come back and you can get sued big time.
Yeah, listen, you get sued for $1 billion. That's like a record, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they can sue me for the 5 cents I have in the bank.
You imagine getting sued for $1 billion? That'd be like, you gotta be kidding me. $1 billion?
Yeah, well, that's like InfoWars. I thought you knew who InfoWars was.
Oh, yeah, I know you're talking
I told you to get him on our show.
I've tried.
Well, now we got more than 2 people watching us.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll have to reach out to him again.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to jump out of here. Again, I want to thank everybody on chat. We had Barb on here. We had Tom, which he didn't buy that sports car. I knew it. I already figured out he needs to get a lowboy 1953 Studebaker. That is a pussy magnet.
I guess if you're wanting a kitty cat, you're in luck.
Yeah,
huh?
do you know what a 53 lowboy Studebaker looks like? My dad had one.
Yeah, I've seen them.
They're sexy. They were way ahead of their time.
They were, actually. You're right.
Oh, yeah. Right. And Rory and all that out there, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in, and everybody else on chat that
Jody,
came
Tom?
and went. Yeah, who now?
Jody and Tom.
I already said Tom.
Oh, okay.
Remember I mentioned about the sports car?
Oh, that's right. Matter of fact, that's right. Where is this sports car? I've been waiting.
Well, he waited too long, and somebody else got it.
Well,
that's why I said he needs to get a 53 student. Could you imagine what he would look like? He would be so sexy in that 1953 Studebaker lowboy, especially if he got a red one.
Yeah, especially if you got a red one to sell him. It'd be even better.
You know how much they are worth?
Oh, I don't even know now. I wouldn't even begin how to price them.
You know what I want to get is a 1956 Nash Metropolitan.
Oh my, those things are, well, those are like tiny.
That's what I was telling you. When I was a kid, my grandfather had one.
Aren't those ones you walked in the front? Like you walk like where
no, they had two doors on it.
Oh, I thought it was one open in the front.
No, and they were small. And he would pull up and tell my dad, "Hey, we're going to Mount Rainier," which was about a 40-mile drive, 30-mile, whatever it was. And we would cram into that car. Could you imagine? Okay, my dad would sit up front, and my grandfather would be up front. Here's my mom, here's my grandmother, and here I am in the middle because they wanted to be by the window. And if you know what a 56 Metropolitan looked like and how small it is, you know what a Volkswagen Beetle is. Make it even smaller.
They're tiny. I'm surprised you even made it up the mountain with all that weight.
Yeah, we made it there.
You have to get out and run beside the car?
I don't know. No. I had one of those. I had a Mazda one time. When my first marriage, we bought it, and and it got great gas mileage. Two things about it. I had to take my grandfather in for his cancer treatments in the hospital in Seattle, and I had to park in their underground parking, and it had a ramp. And the only way I could get out of the parking garage is I had to ask my wife and my grandfather, "I'm sorry, you have to walk up." And this is after he would go in for his cancer treatments. You have to walk up that incline because I can't make it up it. If I had any weight in the car wouldn't, I would have to get a run. Now, about a month later, I was in Seattle, okay, and a cop pulls me over and he says, from the light and whatever it was, "You were doing 60. And I said, "This car only has like 40 horsepower. I can't get up to 60 for 2 blocks.
Falling out of an airplane."
So he wrote me a ticket. I go to court and I explained to the judge, "Look, it is impossible for me to be at a stoplight and gun it and get up to 60 miles an hour and that short a distance."
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he goes, "Dismissed."
Yeah, that's funny. God bless my uncle JR. He had a 64.5 old Falcon with a wore out 6-cylinder, and we've gone up that hill. There's a little mountain out in Gilmore, Ohio, in the middle of nowhere. And me and my other cousin, we had to get out and jog beside the car and make the hill.
I had a 63 Nova before I put a 327 into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a 63 Nova. They didn't make a V8 in that particular year. And it had a 6-cylinder in it. And me and my friend, Terry Morgan, we decided we're going to rebuild the motor. And we had a bet with my father that he said it would take you 2 to 3 days. We rebuilt that motor in a day. And we got to a place, Camino Island State Park, which was 90 miles away. And we're hearing a rod knock.
Yeah.
And it's going bang, 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 bang. So, I had tools in the car. So we take it apart, and we actually use the same head gasket and the same pan gasket to get home. We took the piston out. Just took the piston out.
Yeah, you don't need
And I
those.
drove the car for another year. And I sold it to somebody. I never told him it was a 5-cylinder.
Wow. I can't believe you even
I sold it to
drove.
another kid.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing that thing
You
ran.
think the gas was being watched in that oil with that piston gone?
I can imagine so. It's the one that just didn't go bang.
Yeah. That would be a car blowjob, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And you could be in the back seat with that blowjob.
That's one size fits all there.
Yeah. Well, the week after next week, everybody have a good one. Be safe on 4th of July. Be careful, because I one time did a skyrocket, actually. And I set it off in a parking area. Instead of going up, it went underneath my car and went into the neighbor's house through the glass, set their curtains on fire, and burned a big hole in their brand new couch.
That's like the magic bullet. Jeez.
Yeah, and I watched it in slow motion when I did it all. And they came out, and the next thing I know, the police were all there. That's another story. Everybody have a good one. Safe 4th of July. We'll catch you on the other side if we're still here.
Who's friends with all the night dreamers talking to you at night? Geri on the radio, but maybe he's not in sight. Bigfoot's on his tail, flying UFO.